Yo. All right, so this is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do on this channel, at least thus far. I'm not going to like, this isn't going to be a video with any of the kind of like editing that I do in a lot of my other videos. I'm just going to record myself, and then I don't know if I need to cut anything out, like like that, throat clearing or anything as an example. But I don't feel like editing, but I do want to just upload another video. Haven't done that in a while. I kind of wanted to talk about how I think as time has been moving on, as younger people take over from what we've seen, you know, the new mayor of New York, the new mayor of Seattle, and just, I don't know, countless other instances where we've been seeing more progressive, what's the word? More like transit progressives and like the people who care more about not just furthering like the oil companies' like grasp on transportation and keeping us in a car dependent hellhole. And I've been enjoying that. I think, you know, a lot of things are changing for the better. Like my last full video that I made was just about things getting better, even if it seems a little slow. And all the people that, you know, could cry and cope and whine and whinge that cars are still king and nobody wants to give up driving, even though the stats and research and everything goes against everything they're saying, especially now that we got this, you know, cool oil crisis going on. Well, it's getting there. I don't know if it's fully at a crisis yet, but, you know, I just think in general things are getting a little better. I will say, from what I have gathered, just kind of my own anecdotal evidence, this isn't like well researched or anything. This is a bit of an opinion piece, so I'm just going to be upfront and honest about that. But I've seen a detriment to me right now is the new talking point that transit is too dangerous. You know, transit needs to be safer. You know, forget about the fact that in many of these metropolitans in the U.S. that transit kills like one or two people a year, which, you know, not downplaying that. A bad thing, not good. It's a tragedy when anybody's life is taken so abruptly, and, you know, I'm not going to downplay that. But the bigger issue, I think, is ultimately the fact that in a lot of these areas, you know, it's the highways and the car infrastructure that is taking the lives, upwards of like 700, 800 to every 1 or 2 transit deaths. So, you know, objectively, the facts favor transit as far as safety goes. I mean, transit is up there with planes, like rail transit especially, as far as, you know, safe transportation. Doesn't get much safer than trains and planes. But yeah, no, I mean, Fox and News Craps and all these other oil baron-owned cuck news channels have to, you know, keep car dependency alive. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to talk about that because I think that is the newest, greatest talking point. I've been feeling that way for a while. A channel I like to watch that is, I mean, actually popular, that people actually watch, called City Nerd. I made a video recently about, you know, which is safer, transit or cars. And I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but that video made me finally want to, you know, I guess upload whatever this is going to be about it. And I just think this is such a stupid talking point, and I think that it's the newest, most dumb, but newest, dumbest, but unfortunately most latched onto argument. Unfortunately, there are still so many brainwashed Americans that think it's a good argument. Like, legitimately think it's a good argument. It's not. It is objectively not. Like, the stats, the hard-hitting stats and research shows that transit is objectively leagues, miles safer than car dependency in any form. But, you know, again, Fox News and Newsmax are, you know, funded by a bunch of billionaires and oil companies, so they got to keep everybody believing that cars is the safest and transit is bad. But one specific case I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to try to be a little delicate with this because, I mean, I don't know, it's just not the kind of topic that I think it shouldn't be used to further any kind of, like, ideology, I guess. I shouldn't be using it as a way to, like, try to get my point across, and I will to some degree, but it goes into a whole other... It kind of flows into another argument that I want to make about how, like, you know, I won't do it, but Fox News does it, Newsmax does it, News Craps, and that's the subway murder. You know, thankfully when I looked it up, hold on a second, let me switch screens real quick. Thankfully when I looked it up, you know, you don't actually find the picture of that woman who was, well, I guess, oh no, okay, there it is, right over here, yeah, cool. But that subway murder that Fox News really loved to ramble on about, how, you know, girls killed on the subway, and then they spun it as, like, you know, foreigners, immigrants, whatever. Spun in a way where, first off, it's tragic. Obviously, I agree it shouldn't have happened. I agree that a lot of things in that situation should not have happened. The country's lack of mental health care services and whatnot, and just the I don't know, just so many different problems that branch off into other problems that lead into this. That's more of a complex issue that I don't want to go over. I want to get to the point that Fox News and Newsmax, if you remember, spun this, and many other stupid outlets spun this as, you know, oh, crime on the subways. And Pete Hegseth's, no, not Pete, what's that idiot's name? Sean Duffy, yeah. That moron also, with his stupid little tweets about how, you know, transit needs to be safer. Look what's happening on the subways. Just really, really stupid talking points. You know, using an innocent girl's death to fuel their oil auto propaganda, basically. I mean, basically, that's what they did, you know. They're trying to spin it in a way there they can say that this wouldn't have happened in your private automobile. It would have happened, it could have happened, and it does happen often in private automobiles, so just, you know, stupid argument. Really, 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 really dumb. They spin that around, they spin that story faster than a spider spins its web. They get it all over. A bunch of other morons start talking about it in that light. Like, I don't know, just you know, spread the propaganda far and wide, and unfortunately it takes hold, because a lot of people just fall victim to this just large-scale oil and auto propaganda. But yeah, so this happened. Multi-million-dollar institutions and news outlets and whatnot, and the people lobbying them all, you know, team up together to demonize public transit. Unfortunately, it works, and now you have thousands upon thousands, if not millions, of people all over the United States who already held on to stupid beliefs about transit that don't exist, or not true, have been falsified, or objectively just stupid takes to have, and now they're even dumber. And that's already tragic. So, you know, and it's already, you get it. I mean, you've probably had arguments with some of these people. But it's funny to me, right? It's funny to me how, well, funny is, I guess, one word. Not funny, but it's curious to me. You know, a story that could have been titled any other way that would have been more respectful to the victim, and also not showing her face, because, you know, little known fact, the family doesn't like that picture being, you know, shown all over the place. I guess that's news to Fox News, who had that shit plastered on their channel for as long as they possibly could have. Just really cool, just insensitive stuff from Fox News. Just super, super cool stuff on their part. You know, disrespect the family's wishes, and also spin a tragedy into a story that will further your oil propaganda and further demonize public transportation. Just cool stuff. And then you got a story like this, as you've probably seen up here. The FedEx guy, you know, the FedEx killer that did all that. I'm not going to read it because this channel's already, got itself in a little bit of hot water for going against, oil propaganda and all that. But yeah, you know this story. It's been pretty popular. It's been going around. Again, I'm not going to spin this in any way because I'm not a heartless, soulless scumbag who's only in this for the money and wants to further terrible, terrible things just, for more money. But the Twisted FedEx Killer did all that. Do they have the picture? Yeah, I got the picture too. Cool. But if I was going to, just gonna be this guy for a second and just be scummy for a second for the persona, I guess. This was a kidnapping by a guy, just a scumbag who used a not private vehicle in this case, but effectively to further this, argument, quote unquote, that I'm making here for a second, to kidnap a child and do just psychopathic stuff too. Just another tragedy, right? And here's how I view this story. It's tragic. Shouldn't have happened. The guy's a total scumbag. I'm not going to spin it in any way. Shouldn't have happened. This poor innocent little girl here didn't deserve any of the stuff that happened to her. Just actually tragic. And that's how a normal person should view this story, A tragedy happened. This shouldn't have happened. This guy deserves every terrible thing that's going to come to him. And that's how you should come away from this. Just as you should have from this. Like you get it, right? Like the point of this, the point of these two stories that I'm trying to make here is a death happened. Crime happened, much as it happens everywhere and is tragic whenever it happens. Now, if I was some terrible, soulless piece of shit, scumbag, disingenuous moron with an agenda to push so that I can get lots of money from, a bunch of companies to push said agenda, I could spin this as, so that guy used a private vehicle or used a motor vehicle as a vessel in this case to commit these egregiously god-awful crimes. So a car was used. So cars are unsafe, cars bad, no cars good. Because a guy who is a scumbag who committed a crime that could have happened anywhere used a car. Car bad, transit good. Sounds stupid, right? Because it is. Just as stupid as it is to say the subway was the problem here. Crime exists. Crime exists. Simple as that. And you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Crime exists less on transit. It does. Like, objectively, it does. So, again, not gonna use this story here specifically to, further my agenda. I just wanted to kind of, give an idea. I used it in such a way where I could, black and white. There's no other way to perceive how stupid the propaganda is in this country right now. It's just so blatantly dumb. If any public transit incident happens, any bad thing happens on public transit, spreads like wildfire all over the place. It's span in every different way that makes it look demonic and terrible and awful. So don't use transit because transit bad, car good. Any crime with a car, an automobile, vehicle, whatever, that happens, that was associated with a car or whatever, nothing. It was just a crime, just another crime that happened. And that's reasonable. I do feel like that is reasonable, Focus on the crime. Focus on the victim. Honor them. The victim's life was taken. Shouldn't have happened. I get that. I understand that. And I agree with that. But it works both ways. You demonize transit to spin a story, spin some dumb, stupid fable so that you get oil propaganda money, whatever. And that's just how blatant the brainwashing is right now. When the fact of the matter is, transit is safer. There's less crime on the subways and the buses and the trains than there is happening with cars. I uploaded a short recently that goes over just the insane amount of crimes that happen with private vehicles, private automobiles. But yeah, I feel like that was a bulk of what I wanted to get off my chest. I've been thinking about that recently, and this video didn't have a script, so that's why I feel like at times mumbled and droned on. But I think the only other thing I wanted to go over was this. You know, these reports of road rage shootings on the rise, like just all these outlets, you know, all these outlets going over it, and I feel like you could click on any one of these and it'll be mostly the same thing, but there's so much of it happening, like you really can't ignore it unless you're Fox News and Newsmax, I guess. That ExxonMobil money must be just so sweet. Car bombings, we've had a few of those recently. Huh. Wonder why Fox News isn't reporting on that. Interesting. Just a little interesting, isn't it? Cool. Cars and human trafficking, yeah. You know, just, I don't know, a little nutty, I think. I just hate it so much. I don't know how widespread this video will ever be. I don't know that what I'm saying right now shouldn't be eye-opening. This feels like common sense to me, but then I must remind myself that the amount of money that these companies like ExxonMobil and Shell and probably to some degree OPEC and all of the billionaires lobbying because of these deals they have with them and whatnot, it's a lot of money being used to fuel a lot of propaganda all over the internet. Just videos and ads and being put in TV shows, and it's being spun a certain way on news outlets, being paid to spin stories in such a way that it makes cars look like the heroes and transit look like the bad guys. And then I realized that, and I don't know, a lot of this just makes more sense, and it's tragic, but I'm not going to stop talking about it, and I'm not going to lose my conviction on this. And even if I just convince one other person in the world to like kind of open their eyes a little more and see how hypocritical this is, like what I've discussed in this video, you know, the whole like, oh, crime happened on train bad, let's completely disregard the victim and not honor them in any way. In fact, let's take a shit on their family and show a picture that the family didn't want spread online everywhere. Great. Oh, okay, crime happened in a private vehicle, or crime happened in a car or a van or whatever. That's tragic. You know, let's actually not focus on the fact that the method of transportation was used to do it, which again, I'm fine with. I'm completely fine with that. You shouldn't focus on that. You should focus at hand on the victim and honor their life and you know, demonize the perpetrator, the person who committed such heinous crimes. I agree with that. Again, my problem is the hypocrisy and the blatant propaganda in all this. Like, it's just nuts to me. It's nuts. And I wouldn't call this video like a hyper informative, like heavily researched video. I mean, all the links and resources are in the video you watched, but it's just kind of a video I made to maybe encourage you to like look at it more often, you know? Look at it from the angle of oil propaganda. Like, don't do it all the time, and I'm not saying again to like go and to go and like, oh, they didn't talk about how it happened in a car. I'm just saying, like, look at the difference between a crime when it happens on transit versus in a car. And it becomes plainly obvious that one of these industries is being heavily pushed and lobbied for, and the other is being heavily demonized and, you know, turned into the big bad boogeyman of transportation. And just, you know, just look at it, because it becomes very, very apparent. And it's probably going to keep happening. I guess the only thing I want to say now is I hate Fox News and Newsmax, and I think that if somehow their buildings, like Fox HQ, Newsmax HQ, end up turning to ash somehow. Not saying how it would happen, but if it did happen, I do think humanity would be better off for it. And that's it. I don't know when I'm going to make another video, but that's it. And you have a nice day, all of you.